what the narcissist used to be. It is an inescapable fact that if you do not address your emotional thinking and reduce it to the lowest level possible, then it will cause you to always cherish what you thought the narcissist was. To cherish an abuser, to lament what the narcissist once was and is no longer, is not logical and is the product of emotional thinking. And yet, if you fail to address this emotional thinking, this is the consequence that you will suffer. The presence of what we do and emotional thinking causing you to erroneously cherish that which we once were means the means by which the narcissist is able to keep the door open to enable us to come back into your life at some future point. Whether it is next week, next month, or in 10 years' time. In the immediate aftermath of our callous disengagement of you, you will think back to the way that we were with you frequently, minute by minute, perhaps hour by hour. The repeated reminders, the smiles, the warmth, the love and the affection will flash into your mind repeatedly as your addiction fights to keep you thinking about us, to keep us in your mind. Cruel reminders of what we once had together, generating a bittersweet response from you, and designed to feed the addiction, to cause you to remain within this arena of interaction and to be salami-sliced into the others. Your emotional thinking causes you to fall into the trap of conjuring up these images in order to remind yourself that it actually did happen. Then there comes the moment of pleasure, but again, that is false, generated by the emotional thinking as a means to again con you, to keep you in this arena of thinking about us by making it feel good, just for a moment, so that it pushes back the awful feelings that have been engulfing you. Yet, like any drug, that small instance of delight has a huge price attached to it. The despair soon returns, and it feels even worse now that you reminded yourself of how good it once felt. This torment seems unending as you repeatedly think about all of the things about the narcissist that you loved, and you really did love, and you loved with such intensity and desire. You indeed gave your all, because the narcissist showed you what was exactly that which you wanted. We became the false other half to complete you, because all we ever did was mirror what you wanted. You, in a perverse twist, created the narcissist, or at least you created that part of the narcissist which attracted you to me. You created the very thing which drew you in, because what I used to be, what I once was precisely that which you wanted more than anything. That was why I was so effective at drawing you in. That was why the narcissist was so brilliant at making you feel happy, loved, and elated. This fixation with what we used to be becomes very hard for you to overcome. You must avail yourself of the understanding that it was all false, that there is no such thing as a part-time narcissist, that it's not the case that we were genuinely decent and loving and kind and caring, and then something went wrong. But what came first was false, an illusion, a fraud. The strength of your emotional thinking, however, fights to prevent you from understanding and seeing this, and that emotional thinking becomes reinforced by you falling prey to unhelpful behaviours, such as reminiscing about the way that things were, discussing the way that things were with the narcissist with your friends and family, perhaps looking at pictures during the golden or bronze period, perhaps looking at those text messages and emails, so that You are reminded of all of the apparent affection and love that came your way. Those emails, those letters, those text messages need and ought to be removed. When you talk about the narcissist and how the narcissist used to be to other people, you are of course lent sympathetic ears, and people nod and serve up the platitudes. But they are no wiser that you are. They are no wiser as to what caused the damage, what caused the change, why the narcissist is no longer that which he appeared to be. You are misled by that eternal hope that somehow we will change and return to being that person that you fell in love with. So often, you will think back to events, replaying them in your mind, as you bring hurt to bear on yourself in the name of memory. The passionate embraces, the holding hands in the cinema, the way that we made you laugh, the films that we enjoyed together, the sexual congress which was sensational, and just the fact of being together. Everything was once wonderful, and you want it to be that way once again. You want us to be that which we used to be. We made you create us, and because you created that part of us, it is all the harder for you to dispose of, because you are trying to, in effect, eradicate a part of yourself, and being hindered by your emotional thinking. To do so, you must deny yourself access to the meals that we shared together, the music that we danced to, the places that we went to, and so forth, because these and more are all infected with the ever-presence that is created by us. It is in the spreading oak by the river that you will find what I used to be. It is in the back row of a darkened cinema where you will find what I used to be. It is sat in the window seat where you will find what I used to be. This was generated as part of the seduction, and now, misled by your emotional thinking, you perpetuate these thoughts because the addiction wants to be fed. The pain will be sharp and jagged, as well as frequent for some time. But as the world keeps on turning and as time passes, your thoughts of what we used to be will diminish if you discipline yourself to the imposition and maintenance of a total no-contact regime. The pain dulls and is not so brutal after time. The memories will still float to the surface, and we will drift through your dreams still. Often it is there that the cruelty of this scenario works its foulness most. You will dream of how things were, how we used to be, and it will seem so real to you, so wonderful and delightful, that it is only when you wake come the morning and realize that it was nothing but a dream, and it has now become nothing, that the pain grips you once again. Every day, as you fight against your emotional thinking, the need to remember what we were will surface. You need to keep those thoughts at bay, rejecting them, popping them with logic. But it becomes hard and confusing without the guidance of my work. At times, you are left thinking, is it not just easier to give in and let those wonderful memories wash over you once again, just for a little while? Are you not allowed some relief from this incessant agony, just for a short while, so that you can bask in the thoughts of how we were back in that golden period? Is it so wrong to do this and remember? They were good times, great times in fact, and surely you should be allowed to reflect on them and recall them. You would be a bitter person if you did not do so, surely. You must not do this. They were not good times, they were false times. They were not great times, they were fabricated times. And you need to remind yourself of that each and every time your emotional thinking tries to take you by the hand and lead you down memory lane to try and remember what we used to be. Every time you succumb to this urge and the need to remember what we were and what we used to be, you are allowing the toxic influence of emotional thinking to worm its way deeper inside of you. You are feeding the memory and letting it remain, and by doing so, You are condemning yourself to a longer sentence. You are delaying your freedom. Your emotional thinking works against you, and one way that it does so is to try and cause you repeatedly to lament, reminisce, and dip into the nostalgia of the way that the narcissist used to be. Remember, what those memories were fake. What those memories were false. What those memories were fabricated. What the narcissist used to be is exactly the same as what the narcissist is now. A fraud and a conman. Somebody that has come to seek the prime aims from you, consciously or unconsciously. Remember that. Do not fall prey to remembering what you thought it was, because it never was that to begin with. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.